I was asking you about your last name, and that has to be, aside from having one of the coolest voices in sci-fi, you also have one of the most intense last names. My name is Kevin Garcia. I'll be moderating just real quick. Make sure the mic's on.
Not on.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, anyway, guys, Kevin Grevioux, creator of Underworld, the really intense, scary werewolf as well in that series. Creator of I, Frankenstein, creator of Blue Marvel from Marvel Comics, creator of many things, actually. And I was actually going to ask you real quick, and I've asked you this before, but I'll ask you again. How did you get started in writing?
You know what? I basically have been a horror fan or a sci-fi fan since I was a kid. And so, you know, how you're going to tell your parents that you want to major in sci-fi, go into school. So I guess what I did is I just kind of sublimated that desire to go into real science as a career. I was a microbiologist for a few years. I was pursuing my master's in genetic engineering when I basically said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I had a picture for writing. I saw Spike Lee's movie, She's Gotta Have It, right? So you can make movies as a living, and he was kind of a young guy too at the time. So I said, you know what, it's too late for me to change my major. So, let me do something that I've always wanted to do in the back of my mind, and really try to pursue it in earnest. And so that's how I got into writing.
And you were fully in science. You have, how far advanced is your degree in science?
Well, I only have a bachelor's in microbiology, but I was studying to get a master's in genetic engineering, but I did not finish the master's.
Sorry. Where's she at? Carmen? Can you fix this? All right. Now, you started out school in science, got into writing, and acting. Did that come before the writing?
No, that came after. Basically, what I was doing was extra in Hollywood when it came to me. So, a couple of people saw me. Thought I had, they liked my size, they liked my voice, so I had to please them and say, you should consider, trying to act as well. So that's what I did. And, I kept eating cheeseburgers and french fries until I saw that much.
In my imagination, you guys were writing Underworld, and somebody said to you and says you have to have that voice on screen. You have to make him a monster. You have to be there. You just have an intense voice.
Yeah. Well, what happened with that? A lot of times, as an actor, it's hard to get roles. It's one of these situations where there are 1,000 guys who are of your same type who are auditioning for these roles. The best way to rise above the rest is to really create your own IPs and your own vehicles for your talent. So with Underworld, that's what I did. Wrote the original screenplay and then wrote myself a part in it. I wanted to make sure it wasn't too high up on the call sheet, so they wouldn't bring in somebody, an actor with a bigger name to play the role. But it was right at that point where it was like, okay, this would be good for you to play. So it was good.
That's cool, sir. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I wanted to put this up here because aside from creating these amazing movies, I also want to point out your comics.
Yes.
And I've been following on Facebook the really exciting Dark Storm, which you're working on.
Yes.
And I really wanted people to see what this was.
Okay.
Of course, you created Blue Marvel for Marvel Comics, which is one of their most powerful characters and one of the most powerful Avengers now.
Yes.
And that was for Marvel, but then you want to do Darkstorm for yourself.
Yes.
And real quick, who is Darkstorm?
Darkstorm is kind of a character I kind of patterned after myself, in terms of his morphology as well, this, that, the other. But Darkstorm, his real name is Bernard Gage, and he is a military man. He's an Army Ranger who is the colonel of this unit called the Darkstorm, which is kind of like the Special Forces. And so part of his getting his powers, he ran this organization, and in a word they were killed on this mission in which these superheroes interfere with one of these military policy type deals. And because superheroes don't have any real experience in military, protocols, this, that, and the other, they screwed up. And as a result, one of his guys got killed. So he's kind of had a hatred for heroes all this time while he is a military guy. But in another mission, that he was going to get these people, these hostages out, superheroes yet interfered again, realizing he had stumbled upon this kind of situation with this supervillain and a secret alien invasion that the superheroes are trying to stop, but they're trying to use their own brand of, politics or whatever. Well, something goes horribly wrong. There is a blast which kills his entire unit of the strange alien radiation. But at the same time, it imbues him with these superpowers. So now he has become that which he hates. He has become a character with these powers, but instead of doing it like superheroes normally do it, where they make decisions on what people to help, what people not to help, how far you go and all that, as a military man, he says no. Human life comes first, regardless of politics. I am not going to stand by idly while people die and you make decisions for all of us. Now I'm going to be a hero for the people who will help all people regardless of international borders or politics or what have you. That's what Dark Sword is.
One thing I love about your writing is all of it is high concept.
Yes.
Military when the superheroes get involved.
Yes.
Vampires, werewolves, it could have been simple, but you took it with several layers of
Yes.
which made it not quite as cut and dry as we might have expected going in.
Yes.
And then, of course, I Frankenstein began as this really, really big concept, and it still came out as something that was not something that had been seen before. So
Yes.
it's the idea of this. Before I mention some of the other stuff we have here, we're going to take questions from the audience. If you guys want to line up at the microphone here, we're looking for anybody who wants to ask anything for Mr. Grevioux. Again, I cannot say your last name enough. I think it's very, very cool. Sir?
Hi. I love all the work you've done.
Thank you, sir.
I got two questions.
Yes.
First, where did the inspiration for I Frankenstein come from?
You know what? I've always liked Frankenstein, but I will be honest with you. I'm an old school fanboy at heart, so I like to see monsters fight. So the first movie I saw where monsters fought was Destroy All Monsters, but then you had The House of Frankenstein in the old Universal films, where you had Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman fighting, and then also Frankenstein meets the Wolfman. So that was my ultimate inspiration when you stretch it back that far. But more recently, we've kind of forgotten how these characters come to be and who they actually are. And so I like to get into the minutia of who these characters are as individuals. Even though the world looks at them as monsters, what are they actually thinking? What's going on in their heads? And I think that's how you can take concepts and you put them on their ear, spin them around, and turn them upside down. So once you get into Frankenstein, well, what was he thinking after he was created or recreated? And who was he before, And that's what provided the inspiration for me. So exploring those concepts.
Okay, and the second question, which I find very important, is are you going to continue with I Frankenstein?
You know what? It didn't do too well in the box office. There was it just didn't do too well. So I will continue the saga as it was originally meant to be in my own comic book line.
Okay, just so you know, I push it upon all my friends. Every time I ask about movies, I saw it in the theaters personally.
Right.
I love it.
Well, good. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing a lot of people liked, in this area, a lot of people go to watch movies across the border.
Yeah.
Sometimes they come out like a week earlier sometimes. In Mexico, it's advertised as Yo Frankenstein.
Yes.
I like to say it with a slightly different inflection. Yo Frankenstein. I love that. I want to hear that laugh again. That's just amazing.
Yes, sir.
I had a bit of a question. In a versus situation, who would win? Celine or Alice from Resident Evil?
I think Celine. You know, yeah. I don't think there's a real contest there though either. You know, I mean, I think Celine's a better fighter. She's superhumanly strong. Yeah, there you go. That is sugar.
Nate.
Hulk versus Thor.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Oh, you know what? I think Thor is more powerful. The Hulk is stronger just by virtue of the fact that strength increases. But my thing is Thor's strength increases as well. You know, when he calls upon the warrior madness or the berserker rage or whatever. So I give the overall edge to Thor, but he has to take the Hulk out quick, which he's fully capable of doing, but they never show him doing that. But my money's on Thor.
I always bring the magic in. I say, you know, Thor has the hammer, he's got the lightning. I know Hulk is Hulk, but Thor's got more stuff in his bag.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I think, like I said, I think he has more overall power. Like, really, if you want my opinion, it's like two regular guys fighting, but one of them has a sledgehammer. So that's how the fight should go. So that gives you an indication. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and
Hello,
I'm
Jessica.
a huge fan. Oh my god, when I heard you were coming, I was like, I've never been to HorrorCon, you know, a bunch of people have come, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then I heard you were coming, I'm like, I gotta be here, right?
I want to thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to have you.
So my question is, I'm a huge Underworld fan, right? I have all of the movies. I wanted to know if we were gonna see Michael and Celine again.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because there's a bunch of, you know, stuff I've seen on Facebook that there's gonna be a reboot and stuff, but I thought.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I'm not involved anymore. You know, it's one of these things where it was my first project that I got made, and it's extremely hard to get things made in Hollywood. So I had to give up my rights in order to get the first movie made. Then they take it over, they do what they want to do. So, you know, I'm not involved. I don't think it's going to be an According to Oil reboot, though. I do know there's some issues with Scott Speedman wanting to reprise the role. So, you know, if they're going to do a reboot, then maybe they're going to have a new Michael, in which case they can do what they want. If not, if Kate is back, then in all likelihood there will probably not be a Michael.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask you about that?
Yes, sir.
You know, you have people trying to get into the business and some of that. One of the things they always say, you have to compromise.
Yeah.
But at the same time, can you still get some pride off of something that has a life beyond you? Like, you created it, you may not have any control over it anymore, but it still continues on its own.
Yeah.
Or is it different than the stuff you own yourself?
You know, it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other sometimes. You know, yes and no. You take pride in the fact that you were able to create something that has this long of a lifespan and has gone to live on. You wish you'd be part of it, but that's showbiz, you know. The best way to combat that is to create other stuff. You know, and all too often, though, I've seen people create something and then they never create anything else, you see. And that's where it really sticks in your craw. So as long as you're still creating and you have launched your career and you're able to do more stuff, then I think it'll be okay. Yes, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
First of all, this is my first time here at HorrorCon. And I have one question. I overheard you say that between Thor and Hulk.
Yeah.
And I believe that Thor may have powered the Hulk, but Hulk is smarter than Thor.
It depends on what you mean by that. Because here's the thing. And yes, I'm a big comic book geek, and I go way back. So, the Hulk's alter ego is Bruce Banner, right?
Yes.
And he's a nuclear physicist. Well, Thor's alter ego was Don Blake, who was not only a medical doctor, but in the beginning he was also a bioengineer. And he actually created an indestructible android at one point. So, who's smarter? I don't know.
So you gotta go way back in the comics.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
True, the stronger the Hulk gets, sometimes the less he thinks. It depends on which Hulk you're dealing with.
Exactly,
too, right?
exactly. Which Hulk and which Thor.
The current Hulk is supposed to be super strong and super smart, but he's kind of one-minded in what he's trying to do right now. So he's not quite into going to other fights. So it always depends.
Another question?
Yes, sir.
What are you going to do after this?
I have a number of projects I'm working on. Trying to create a transmedia company, launch my own line of comics, doing a bunch of stuff. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Hi.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. I think we can all agree that Underworld 1 was the best.
Yes.
And so I guess you already answered my question. I was going to ask how much creative input you had for the second and third movies.
None. Usually once you give your creation over to the producers, then it takes on a life of its own. And that can be a good thing sometimes, bad times, bad thing in other times. So.
Are you still receiving royalties from that franchise?
You get residuals, as an actor and as a writer, but not these passive payments that are perpetual. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, thanks, man. You're one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, sir.
That goes to what I was saying about your stuff being kind of high concept.
Yeah.
Is that the concept of them is usually so interesting by itself.
Yeah.
That even as other creators come in and take over, it's because of that concept. So it's because that concept kind of got the kernel rolling. Like Blue Marvel,
Yes.
I first talked to you because of Blue Marvel. I was writing about the character for one of the Marvel comics.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of that character. And now that character's been taken over by some other writers at Marvel, but they're building off of what you